Welcome to TW Sports Talk, everybody. This is the October 8th edition here, coming off of the Eagles' win this past weekend. This what was a much needed win against the New York Giants, and it was it had its ups and downs certainly, and it's interesting subtopics to talk about. But they got the job done and ended up with a convincing win. Definitely, I think more convincing than any win they had last year and thus far in the season, obviously. So yeah, let's talk. Without further ado, let's talk about the game.
Yeah.
Obviously, in the second quarter, up to the point where Vick pulls. Well, he has a hamstring injury. We don't know the extent. It's day to day. But from what it sounds like, he's not going to play.
Well, I've heard
Tampa
stories
Bay.
now that he might start Sunday now. Suppose he was moving around and it wasn't bugging him as much today in practice. So
well,
it's gonna it's day to day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
like it was mentioned, it's going to be day to day. And
felt bad for him too because it wasn't like he did anything wrong.
He didn't get
he
nailed.
did what he was supposed to. He gets to the sidelines and goes out of bounds.
And he never pulled a hamstring or anything in his up to his point in his career. He's had other injuries, but never something like that where it's just like a freak, To
the point where he can't even scramble out of the pocket anymore. Because I saw him when he first came in there.
We
saw luckily Chip Kelly's making the smartest move of his coaching career so far in the NFL, pulling him out of the game.
All right, we're gonna
because he's not gonna put Vick through that.
Right. So
why force him to go through it when he's not 100% right now.
So at that point in the game, they were up 16-7. Now, that's where things get interesting. Now, Foles was brought in. 19 was it
19-7.
You mean I know it had. I know Foles.
Halftime was 19-7.
Well, I know that before that.
Okay, yes, you're right. Foles let us down for that.
He did
19-7.
He did lead him down to a nice drop. Now, early on in the game, it was like mostly Alex Henry putting up the points. They were. It's like some of the.
There was a nice run by McCoy at
the there was. There were some of the nice things we've been seeing. They get some of the same things we've been seeing in weeks past, where they just haven't been able to pound the ball in the end zone.
Well,
they've been getting to the red zone.
Well, that was the problem last year too. The problem was always
that was definitely
the goal line.
Yeah,
and also their offense,
right,
which had a good drive, just would sputter.
Yeah, and that was. But I mean, they got at least good field goals. No Alex Henry misses.
22 points for me on fantasy. That's all I know.
There were no. And I guess part of that could be attributed to that they got the ball far. There were no really long field goals, or they were all pretty. They were manageable field goals that he should have made. So, that at least was good. And then of course we head into the third quarter, halftime. And that's where the Giants were, looking strong, and they eventually took a small lead for a short period of time. The defense, they were showing some of the same issues that they've been showing, but towards the end they got they forced Eli Manning to start throwing some bad interceptions.
Yes.
And of course Brandon Jacobs.
Well, let's be fair on Eli Manning here. The first one should have been a foul on us.
That was
clearly a lucky missed call on the first one.
The officiating was bad in this game. I'm not just saying one way or the other. There was some.
There was also that was Sean McCoy reception. Even I could tell should have been
he was bobbling. He was bobbling the ball.
Tom Coughlin because that was 2 timeouts in one play.
There were a lot of missed holding calls, perhaps on the Giants.
And the second one I go more of. It was a lucky takeaway by was it Boykins? I think it did it.
Brandon Boykin.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it an interception. It was in the guy's hand, and Boykins just took it away from him. It
was a nice defensive play, definitely.
Yeah, but I wouldn't throw it against Eli. Statistically, the stats would say it was against Eli Manning.
The receiver could have had a better.
Now his final interception was clearly.
It was just a terrible throw.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and then of course there was the one play where there was a potential safety, if you remember.
Oh yeah, I heard.
Now I remember what's his name from the NFL Network, the head of officiating and whatnot, said that Jacobs stopped his forward progress,
and he ran back on his own motion,
which then would have meant
safety,
meant a safety, but the refs missed it. And like we said, the officiating was not very good in this game, both ways. So but you add it up, and it didn't. At this point, the Eagles still had a convincing win. And now with the turnover, the defense creating the turnovers. Of course, the Eagles not turning the ball over, it was pretty good.
And even when Vick was in, there was no turnover.
Right.
There might have been no amazing, passing game happening at that time.
Even though there's been drop passes, yeah.
Well, that's the thing there too. I mean, Cooper and Ivana dropping makeable passes that you can't be further. I think
and they can't even get. Yeah, I mean, and then again, they can't get.
And like I said, Jackson's getting double teamed because he's only like Will Fred on the receiver.
But he did have a good game, Jackson,
and not utilizing the tight ends
against
as
the
much.
Now, you saw a difference in game plan, I think, which helped the Eagles come back. Now, obviously, LaShawn McCoy
not in the beginning, though.
Not in the beginning, no. But
running a read option of Nick Foles, I don't know what Chip Kelly was thinking.
I mean, I was saying that at the TV when it was happening. I'm thinking, like, you really think do you really think that they think Foles is going to keep the ball and run with it?
And run like 20 yards down the field? No,
right?
He's not the old time. That's the thing about Vick, because for me, I think he still has like a very young career. He's like very old now.
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah,
but the fact that he's the old time rusher for a quarterback in the NFL, like, still very impressive for his age.
Yeah,
but at the same time, no championships to go with that. But no, I think I never really realized he was the all-time rusher. But I think he was
a few years ago. I think in 2010 he might have eclipsed that record.
Well, that's the thing. I'm curious how high he might get to go now, since he has that. Obviously, the goal for him at quarterback is to be passing, not running. But
early on in the game, he definitely did. Like last week. I mean, early in the game. He did keep a few drives alive because of his legs.
Yes.
And maybe guys couldn't get open on that play, so he didn't throw it, and then he ran it and got the first down. That's good. That's an example of maybe something Foles can't do unless there's like no defenders anywhere in sight to, get him right away. But then once the Eagles did, get these turnovers, and they got some good field position for Foles, and then Foles made a couple nice touchdown passes. The one to Selleck was a perfect throw. I mean, it was a tough throw to make too. And a nice catch.
Selleck made it, tight end man
making up for that drop last week, and he kind of comes
Jackson
out.
Kind of like did his catch. I think was pretty amazing because he changed routes.
Right.
He knew the ball wasn't going where it was supposed to, so he changed the routes to make up for it. So, I mean, and obviously for a guy that's had, I'd say 2 no-show games, Jackson, for him to finally get a touchdown, I think is good signs.
Yeah.
But I mean,
who knows? And I mean, Ertz had a nice catch early in the game. I mean, we still see what maybe they can use more of the tight ends, especially if Selleck picks it up.
I mean, like I said, if Foles is in, I would run it like a New England Patriots offense then.
Right. Yeah,
a lot of passing, a lot of play action,
a lot of short, quick passes that seem to work, and with to get LaShawn McCoy involved in that, instead of running the read option, they could have hit him out, on the outside in the open field with some, because he can be good in the passing game like that.
Well, that's the thing. I always wonder why they never really have done that so far in this offense.
Yeah, they haven't.
I mean, back in Andy Reid's offense, that used to happen all the time, whether it was with Westbrook or I was McCoy, but I think even Deuce Staley back in the day, that happened a lot.
Yeah,
he would just they use him on the outside and they throw some short passes to him.
Yeah, and I mean, I can maybe Chip Kelly can figure
which is
that out.
Which I'm surprised they haven't used, because if I remember the Oregon defense offense well,
like
they do that a few times in their offense,
and like some of the screen plays of Deshaun Jackson they could use, and and maybe the tight ends. There's definitely there's a lot of different things they can do with these in the passing game certainly, and with Foles possibly getting the start against Tampa Bay. I mean that'll be an interesting thing to see. Now Tampa Bay, obviously they're 0-4, but their defense is not too bad coming off.
But I think much like New York, they've had issues this season.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Obviously, a lot of stuff. The Josh Freeman release was a big story this week for a bye week.
0-4 is 0-4.
There's this whole does the locker room have any unity? I mean, how even New York had that same issue this week. I mean, how you look at there was a great reaction. I think it was Justin Tuck. And God bless the man. The man's probably gonna be a Hall of Famer, I think, because the man has had a hell of a career as a Giant.
Yeah.
But besides fretting that he's gonna punch at the locker room if I say anything bad about Tom Coughlin, towards the end of the halftime, when they're rolling the locker room there, they go to, I believe it's Justin Tuck. And you can he kind of like in just one motion looks at the scoreboard and looks up at the sky and almost gives like a why. Yeah. Why is this happening?
You could see Eli Manning on the sideline like just staring into space with a bit of 5 o'clock shadow if you looked a little unusual.
Yeah, I mean towards the end you could tell he was not happy on that sideline.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say he was angry. I mean, he was confused. He looked confused as hell.
Like, what's going? Like,
what the hell happened?
0-5, yeah, right.
Well, no. They were winning this game,
right,
at one point, and
they were, yeah.
And I feel like all the momentum was going back into their, in their corner. Yeah. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, all these turnovers and Foles gets.
And you know what? They didn't. The Eagles didn't panic. They made adjustments with the way they ran the offense, and it worked. So. And they got 2 good touchdowns and won the game handily at the end. And the Giants just sputtered and turned the ball over,
But that's the same thing with Tampa Bay there. So now a lot of people are like questioning here, a vulnerable Tampa Bay now is coming in with all these issues coming in.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it almoys comes to the point now where Philadelphia loses this year. It's kind of sad for Philadelphia then.
Yeah.
And by the way, Philadelphia is right now winning the AFC East, basically.
The NFC East, yeah.
The NFC East.
Tied with the Cowboys, who put up a good fight against the Broncos.
Well,
gave them the scare.
Well, that made me really terrified of when we faced Dallas.
Yeah, that was a shootout right there.
Yeah, a shootout against Denver. The same Denver offense that made our defense pretty bad here.
Although,
I mean, let's be fair. The Cowboys do have a lot of offensive weapons.
Yeah. Although
DeMarco Murray, Des Bryant, Miles. I mean, you name it. They have definitely some weapons on that offense.
The pace of the game, was a shootout, and if you look at it that way, I mean, the Eagles gave up 2 special team touchdowns against the Broncos. So you look at it one way, and the Cowboys did give up 51 points.
But I think I look at that game too. I mean, Tony Romo outgained Peyton Manning, which
over 500 yards.
He was close to breaking the all-time passing record.
Yeah, 5 TD
In fact,
passes.
I think if he would have drove him down the field, even if I think he would have had the record. But in typical Romo fashion, he kind of chokes in the big.
The one,
I felt bad for the guy
because like the story.
Because I felt like this was his chance to get that monkey off his back.
But it's like Tony Romo being Tony Romo at the worst. Part.
I mean, how I even say at college, I was talking to somebody in my biology class, and I said, to me, Tony Romo is worse than Donovan McNabb as far as choke artists go. Because McNabb would choke in the big games.
Yeah, deeper in the playoffs.
The championship games.
Yeah.
Tony Romo, to my knowledge, has been choking in a lot of key regular season games. I mean, we go to the Washington game last year.
Yeah.
Where a chance to get a game-winning drive going, and he throws an interception, and Washington goes to the playoffs, and once again, Cowboys go home.
Right.
I think even a year after that, they lose to the Giants by a field. Yeah. I mean,
the one year they had T.O. and they were 13-3. That everything.
They lose the first division game to the Giants. Right. Who end up winning it. I mean, it's just and once again, it comes down to Romo getting a drive and had a chance to maybe score in the end and throws a turnover.
Yeah. Right.
And of course, the classic one where he muffs up. I think it was the extra point, I believe.
Yeah. What was it?
Yeah, to get Seattle, and they lose the game there. So I mean. The guy's got talent. I'm not going to deny him that as an Eagles fan. He definitely has talent. Yeah. But he has this, but I don't know. He can't win key games. And the fact that he can't win key regular season games, I know Jerry Jones, especially with the new contract extension, is behind this guy here.
Yeah.
But for how long is Jerry going to stay behind this guy? Because Jerry knows he has to start adding up the years that Dallas, quote-unquote, America's team has not won a championship.
Yeah.
I mean...
And they can't seem to get balance with the running game either sometimes. Like, they're forced into
Although DeMarco Murray looks like a plus for them in that. But like I said, that's next week.
Yeah. On paper, I would say that the Cowboys are going to win this division.
Yeah. Oh, well, as of right now, but I think Washington, the game next week could speak a lot.
It's a must-win
for Washington next week.
Yeah.
They got to definitely show now that they can win they've got this.
They're coming off the bye.
Yeah.
It could definitely be interesting.
I mean, telling you here, even though that was very impressive against Denver, that interception now has got in Romo's head, and now you got a vulnerable, mentally at least, Tony Romo coming in against Washington.
Yeah, and the Broncos, I mean, they're very good, but I mean,
But Romo gave them that.
You can't expect them to blow out every team. There's going to be
no.
You would have thought that this game wouldn't have been that close, but. It was, and that's some games that happens.
But but even after watching this Denver game now and watching how Kansas City dealt with Dallas, I think really it shows you at least Kansas City defensively has an advantage over Denver.
Yeah.
Now offensively, obviously, goes to Denver, but that's what wins, defense or offense. I think when we face because I'm looking at the schedule, I think. The only game that's questionable right now is Houston. Although it looks like Houston, like I figured, is sputtering out of control.
Matt Schaub is sputtering out of control. So.
But the team is too now because this affects the whole.
I mean he's.
I mean, and to be fair on Matt Schaub though, who the hell do you put in after?
Yeah, they don't
have a back.
They don't really have anybody.
So for me. That Kansas City game, I think, is going to still be a win for Kansas City. I think Kansas City's going to be undefeated when they face Denver. I think Denver's still going to be undefeated.
I mean, Kansas City.
And like I said, and that's going to be a whole. And that might determine who's going to be the favorite in the AFC. Because at this point, the North could be anybody's guess. I mean, the Bengals.
Well, the Bengals look strong against the Patriots.
Ravens look like I said, they might make the playoffs maybe there. But Cleveland, even though they lost Brian Hoyer, now you can't fully throw their name out.
Yeah, I mean, they've won 3 straight now.
I mean, don't go. In the South, you got, I think, one of the closest challengers, the Indianapolis Colts, who had 2 big wins in back-to-week. Back-to-back. No, I should say. Two wins in 3 weeks.
I picked them to give Seattle their first loss there, and it was I wasn't surprised. I mean, they were down in the beginning, but
here's Andrew Luck. You look at the number of fourth quarter comebacks this guy has.
He has 10 now, I think.
Compared to Tony Romo.
Right.
I mean, and in fact, this is only his second year. And,
it's incredible.
Exactly. It's incredible here. And which is why I'm really looking forward to the Indianapolis-Denver game.
Oh, yeah.
You pretty much got the...
And it could be a potential playoff game, too.
It would not surprise me if the Colts actually represent the AFC.
I mean, they might be 1 and 2
I still think Denver's going to do it because you got Peyton Manning and experience there. But the Colts right now could if they make the Super Bowl, I would not be surprised right now.
Yeah.
Because they look like they're the second, third best team in the league right now.
Right.
I mean, New England might just win the AFC East on a technicality at this point here.
Yeah.
Although Geno Smith showed a lot of promise against Atlanta last night.
Yeah, he did. He
did for one pick.
He was 16 for 20 and 3 touchdowns.
And Mark Sanchez, God bless him, he's handled this whole situation well. But he cannot be happy with the fact that Geno Smith is playing well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's times when he's spotty there, but I mean, is the Sanchez train over with in New York maybe this year?
Yeah.
I mean, Rex Ryan won't say because that's not how he rolls as a coach, but. I mean, the AFC, and like I said, the NFC, I still think Seattle's a legitimate team, although the Saints are pretty dangerous right now.
Oh, yeah. Although they play New England at New England. That's a good game. Gronkowski's going to be back. I mean, it'll be his first game back.
But Amendola is back, and he didn't do jack against Cincinnati.
So I mean, slowly maybe they'll work Gronkowski in more, but so down the line they could, The
only thing New England has right now is they do still have a very good defense.
Yeah, they do.
That's Cincinnati game. Cincinnati had to earn that win.
Right.
I mean, those are 2 very good defenses against
Cincinnati play. Yeah, they ended, I think, his touchdown streak that he had going. At least 1 touchdown.
Which is why he's not going to be my starter anymore.
So the Bengals.
In fact, I don't know if you noticed, I dropped Vick and I picked up Russell Wilson. I'm going to go Russell Wilson now because he looks like he's been having some multiple touchdown games. So we'll see what happens to that. I mean, obviously I'm facing you this week.
Yeah.
I have a solid 1-game lead in the division.
Now
you lost Julio Jones for the year.
Atlanta. Yeah, man, they're 1-4. Atlanta.
I'm not gonna lie, it makes me happy because now Roddy White, as soon as he gets this high ankle sprain crap done with, he gets healthy. He's the only target now they pretty much have a wide receiver.
I mean, Calvin Johnson's coming back from.
Detroit needs him because I still think that they always like Green Bay.
They said he was very close to playing, so this week he should be back. And Detroit.
What's just that? I mean, who else was injured for the wide receivers for the Lions?
They lost. The
Calvin,
week before they lost the person who stat wise was actually doing better than Calvin Johnson, who had more
Yeah.
yards or touchdowns, whatever. But yeah,
Because when I saw the Green Bay score, I'm like, the only reason this happens is because Calvin Johnson and
that's
this other
part
wide
of it.
receiver
Yeah,
are not playing.
yeah, that's part of it. But I mean,
Because
Reggie Bush, I mean, is the game before against Chicago, he had a great game against Chicago. So I mean, and Green Bay was coming off the bye, so it's
but
like
no Clay Matthews though,
right, which is
I was
surprising.
surprising that
Right,
Detroit's offense just like
right,
sputtered in the game.
yeah, and all those Stafford. He's my backup quarterback now, and he actually had a lot of points. He had a lot of fantasy points, which I find hard to believe because they only scored 9 points I think in the game.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
yeah,
but obviously, like I said, I think they're still winning the NFC North, I believe, right now.
They're tied, yeah, because I guess because
Chicago
they had the
twice.
win.
Chicago's lost twice.
Chicago's 3-2.
Yeah.
And now of course the Lions are, but they have that advantage over the Chicago
because of the tie.
Yeah.
But
and Green Bay's 2-2 now, and they're going to play the Ravens this week, which is that could be an interesting game. Definitely.
Obviously, the game against Detroit was a big must win for the Green Bay because like somebody's put it. If Detroit would have won, it would have been 3-0 in the NFC.
Yeah,
North,
right.
Which is a pretty tough hole
and
to
then
get out of.
They would have been 1-3. That'd been a bad hole for Green Bay. So.
And Green Bay came up. They stepped up, unlike Atlanta, who kind of once again
1-4.
To me, I had to win the division at this point. I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs.
I mean, I don't know who didn't have them winning, or at least in the playoffs.
I mean,
but
now Julio Jones is out. I don't think Tony Gonzalez is playing up to his potential.
He's gonna,
I mean, God bless the man. He's gonna go down as one of the greatest tight ends in the history.
Probably the greatest. Statistically.
Tight end in the history of the game. But, to me, he should have just retired last year.
Yeah.
It wasn't out on top, but that was the closest you're going to get, honestly.
Yeah.
Because this year it might be because I hate it when athletes stayed to the point now where it's like, oh, God, just retire. Because, I want to see people retire in a positive, not a negative.
Yeah.
I know that's not how it always ends.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great athletes that usually go out the opposite. Brett Favre is probably the best example. he had it in Green Bay, and next thing you know, no, I want to come back. And then he goes to New York, and positive in the beginning, but then what goes straight negative.
Then he had a 13-3 year at Minnesota.
Oh yeah, then they go crazy. And all of a sudden,
but then last year
it was like the magic was over pretty much for Favre.
So yeah.
I mean, once again, still gonna go in the Hall of Fame, just like Tony Gonzalez will.
Right.
But I want to see these guys go out with.
Yeah.
I mean, they're wrong. When they get their number retired, and tell you wrong, Brett Favre will get his number retired at Green Bay, and he better damn sure get a standing ovation at Green Bay, despite all the crap that I know he put the city through.
Yeah.
Just like I still think LeBron James should get his number retired from the Cleveland Cavaliers when that time eventually comes.
Yeah.
Because I know he screwed your city technically there, but
But he took a team of nobodies to.
But let's be fair too. I believe Reggie White is numbers retired at Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And let's be fair, his career was mainly at Green Bay. That's where he won a Super Bowl and so on.
Yeah.
Yes, he had a career in Philadelphia, a long one. But his people look at him as a Packer still. That's how I look at Reggie White. But still,
won his championship.
But exactly. So. But still, I'm proud that he serves an Eagle, even though we never really had him.
He was one of the premier defensive players that they ever had.
So for me, I think everybody else should get the same.
He'd be on the Mount Rushmore of Eagles, I think.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's that. And going back to the Falcons, people say the NFC East is pretty weak, but with the exception of the Saints, the AFC South is now looking pretty weak. The Panthers are 1-3 after their
once again. Somebody in my biology class was joking. He says he can't believe there's this whole expert saying NFC East might have one team. They could have two by the season's over.
Yeah,
because who else in the South is stepping up?
Nobody.
And in the North,
the Saints are up 5-0.
I mean,
and then you got the Panthers at 1-3. That's the closest team right now to them. Bucks are 0-4, and of course the Falcons are now 1-4.
Yeah, I mean. But the only I would say is that the North. I think I would give the advantage to the Bears, Packers, or Lions over anybody in the NFC East right now.
Yeah,
and to me,
one of the wild cards will probably come from that division.
Because to me, it's Seattle or San Francisco down west.
Yeah.
Those teams are probably both going to get it.
San Francisco's starting to roll now. I think.
I think they made Super Bowl favorite. See, that's the thing about Houston. That's really embarrassing. This was a Super Bowl favorite team as well.
Houston.
And they,
well, I didn't think Houston.
No, but I even went as far as saying not even going to make the playoffs.
Right.
And like I said, to me, telling this team should be 0-5. They had 2 very lucky comebacks.
You could, but then they gave up a game to Seattle. They almost, you could have, it works both ways.
Yeah, well, yeah, good point. I'm not going to say that, but that to me, the game against Baltimore was a wake up call. I think to how dysfunctional this team is right now, and definitely San Francisco's a wake up call to how dysfunctional the locker room is.
Yeah, San Francisco's picking it up, certainly.
And even though Seattle lost to Indianapolis, they still look pretty good in that game.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, that my Seattle defense gave the most points it gave all season.
Yeah, I mean, it came down to a good
lot of credit to the Colts now.
Yeah, I mean, that's, offense, defense, and special teams. And, sometimes a special teams play is going to give the other team the game, so, yeah. That's, so, yeah, I mean, the Saints are looking good right now. And like I said, I think the 49ers are getting back into the groove a little more, and they're 3-2 now, and
yeah, I mean,
I think they're going to fight back.
I mean, obviously, I think right now those are the 3 teams in the NFC, and the 3 teams I think in the AFC. I think are Denver, Kansas City, and Indianapolis.
Yeah, I think down the road the Patriots are going to be in there with Gronkowski healthier.
To me, we'll see. Right now, I really feel like New England's gotten
the Chiefs. The toughest team they played so far is the Titans. So I mean, I still want to.
I don't know. I'd throw Dallas in there too.
Well, I mean, Dallas is 2-3, and I don't know.
But
record-wise, it's not very.
I'm just saying they gave Denver one for its money.
Yeah.
And let's be fair here. When they faced Kansas City, this Tony Romo had problems finding the end zone.
Yeah.
And once again, and like I said, Tennessee. Once again, I guess maybe a team that I think could make a wild card run possibly too in the South, because now that Houston's sputtering.
Yeah, although the Bengals and Ravens, I mean, are looking. I think and then the Browns are 3-2 somehow. The Dolphins, I don't know about. They're starting to come down.
The Jets, Jets 3-2.
Ironically, the Jets are 3-2. Yeah, I don't. That's
some reason people don't want to follow Buffalo, but I think the fact that they're starting a practice quarterback.
Buffalo's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, but EJ Manuel was out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's and to me. We saw that.
And to me, once again, showing why nobody wants Tim Tebow in the NFL. Apparently, a practice squad quarterback's going to start for them next week, supposedly.
Yeah, the Chargers. I mean, sometimes it's like which Chargers team's going to show up.
Phil Rivers had a great game once again. But this is the problem that he said earlier. He has almost nobody left from the Charger team back in the day that used to be easily Class A in the AFC West.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, he lost a lot of weapons. He lost the head coach. I mean, people never thought.
I mean, he has had some good games this season, definitely.
They're wrong. Pryor of Oakland looked very impressive against San Diego too, and
Oakland's not as bad as Jacksonville. They're not as. I mean, they're 2-3 now.
Well, speaking, I guess Jacksonville too. I guess Chad Henne's starting because now I believe Gabbert got hurt.
Gabbert, yeah.
If it was ever a chance for Tim Tebow to get back in the league, that would have been it.
And the biggest biggest opening line for them and the Broncos ever, in a long time since the 70s, has come up. It started at 28. I think it went down to like 26.5 or so. I mean, it's fluctuating, I guess. But
yeah, that's right. Denver's Jacksonville.
Denver, yeah.
That could get nasty pretty fast. I mean, I that's one reason why I'm so glad I have Eric Decker still in.
Yeah.
He had an okay game against Dallas. I mean, I said to me, he's the 2 main guys are Thomas, who had an amazing game against Dallas, especially towards the end. He really responsible for those 2 big drives, and Wes Welker.
Yeah.
And then you have Eric Decker. I mean, this is really. I'm not always surprised because I mean, Eric Decker in college was.
Yeah.
I mean, I think at one point he was the quarterback for Minnesota. I mean, he was one of those guys that I think played almost 2 positions pretty much. I mean, and he decided to go wide receiver because he knew probably QB he would not be able to cut in the NFL. Yeah. Once again, maybe something Tim Tebow should have thought about in college quick before he decided to say, "Oh, I'm a quarterback."
Yeah, I mean, I think they might in the second half, they might be bringing out their backups.
Oh yes, I think Brock Osweiler.
I think.
Or that's his last name.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely, I definitely think it's gonna be an easy one for Denver.
Yeah.
But I guess going back to finally the Tampa Bay game.
Right.
I mean, to me, with all the dysfunctionality happened in Tampa, you think this has to be a win.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there, I mean, this Glennon guy isn't that bad. I mean, he didn't play. He had to me, he played okay against Arizona.
Yeah.
Based on what highlights I saw of the game,
it was surprisingly 3-2, by the way.
But Arizona has what's it? Arians, the former
Bruce Arians.
Yeah, the former defensive guy for Indianapolis, and that guy knows how to work defense.
Palmer,
so.
yeah, I mean,
exactly. Palmer's
not doing too
bad.
Look,
you got Larry Fitzgerald on the outside. I mean, they got weapons.
Yeah, it was now probably my most likely replacement for Julio Jones.
It's the only replacement for Julio Jones.
Well, I mean, I got Torrey Smith. Yeah, I mean.
Well, yeah. Torrey Smith. Yeah.
But he's normally my W/R, and
So I mean, like I said earlier, I mean, I think we should beat Tampa.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like any Eagle game this year, I'm not going to say it's a guaranteed win.
Yeah.
I mean, right now Oakland doesn't look like a guaranteed win now because prior looked very impressive with San Diego, and once again, this defense just looks so.
It's going to depend when how they look when we get to that point in the year too. So it's an evolving season.
The last thing that I wanted to see happen this year is a quarterback controversy.
Yeah. And it seems like a lot of people...
To me, that was settled in the preseason. Yeah. Vick is the starter. If Vick gets hurt, Foles starts.
Vick gives you the best chance to win.
Yes. Under the current offense. Yeah. I mean, if Foles is going to be your starter, then Kelly's got to change the whole offense, I feel like.
The only thing, Foles, in these games, if Vick's injured and Foles goes out there and lights it up, maybe he'll adjust to that. But he's going to have to light it up. That's the point there, the key word. They get a close win, and then Vick's 100%. Vick's going to get the start against Dallas.
I mean, but the fact that there's so many people already asking for Vick's head.
Like last week, I mentioned that poll.
To me, I think, once again, he's the easiest target to blame right now in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You can't. They don't want to blame the Chip Kelly because they still feel
he really hasn't done a bad job. I mean.
Well, we can question all those some questionable calls he's made.
Kansas City.
He made the smartest call pulling Vick
out. That
was easily his smartest
call. I mean, Vick hasn't done a bad job this year.
No, I'm not saying either. But I feel like there's so many other things you can blame the defense.
Yeah,
I think that's the easiest thing to blame right now. But at the same time, everybody should have knew we were going to have a bad defense coming in.
Yeah,
we lost a lot of weapons from last year's defense.
Weapons who just didn't.
We have a new coordinator, a new defensive formation.
Yeah,
and sometimes you can't throw in a bunch of players and expect them to even players that won the team last year to adjust to a new defense instantly.
Yeah, exactly.
So every expert knew we were going to have a horrible defense. The question was going to be how explosive would the offense get?
Yeah,
I said I believe we are still number 2 in total offense. I believe
yards. Yeah,
but at the same time we're 31st in total defense, 2 yard wise too. Of course, we faced the 32nd worst defense, New York, last week. So.
After that weekend, the defense the rank might have changed, but that's not the point. I mean,
no,
the matchups.
The point is, offense looks solid, but defense is going to be the thing that's going to always kill us in every game. Because especially when we go through these slumps in the offense, where they go for a full quarter and they keep having less than a minute of 3 and outs.
Yeah.
And they just let the other team come up there and time. That's the thing that shocked me about the New York game. The fact that we were 1 point winning time of possession.
Yeah.
Because you would always think that under this offense, we would never win time of possession, even when we did win games.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Different style with Foles, and most likely, we might see Foles play if Vick's not 100%. So it'll be a different, scenario, different, way the offense is run. Obviously no read option. It's not going to work.
I hope you have to do read option with Foles.
You have to do more conventional running with McCoy and maybe some dump off passes.
To me, if you're going to sell it, do play action like New England does.
Yeah, do play action.
Well, a lot of quick play actions work.
Yeah.
Utilize the tight ends.
Run the ball well. Yeah, utilize the tight ends.
We actually have pretty solid tight ends, I think, on a team that doesn't use them that much.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. It'll be an interesting game here, I mean, either way, whether Vick's
obviously the big game after this is Dallas, because at this point here, if we beat Dallas, we are automatically the favorites to win the division. If Dallas wins, depending on the Washington game, if Dallas beats Washington, and then they beat us. Then Dallas is the favorites to win the NFC.
If we win this game and Dallas loses, the Eagles will be the standalone team in the division. They'd be 3-3, and Dallas would be 2-4. But either way, that Dallas game will be important. Regardless.
Well, yeah, either way, because at this point, I think that's going to determine.
They could tie the Eagles.
To me, the division games matter more than the non-division games at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I feel like a lot of division teams are going to lose to a lot of non-division opponents.
Yeah.
And at this point, looking at the schedule, this is I think, easiest part of the schedule. At least coming up to Oakland.
Yeah.
And after that, it's Green Bay.
Yeah.
And then I
might
believe
be on all cylinders by then.
Yeah, exactly. And then I believe it's a bye. And then we're facing a, Chicago Bears team that we've had problems in the last few years against them. And this looks like a team that's destined for at least a playoff spot.
Arizona's not looking too bad.
Arizona's got a pretty good defense. Plus
Detroit.
Detroit's got, and even Minnesota with all this dysfunctionality. You cannot deny Adrian Peterson right now.
Yeah.
Especially it's our defense.
Right.
He might have a field day, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's still, to me, this is these next I guess 4 games. Yeah.
Yeah. Until we get to the bye.
Tampa, Dallas, New York, Oakland. Yeah, next 4 games.
I think the Giants.
To me, these next 4 games are the most manageable in our schedule, pretty much. Maybe besides the Dallas game.
We got another Giants at home down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as maybe being favorites and maybe could win and get
definitely
get somewhat more above 500 before we got to go into the brutal part of our schedule.
Right.
Because like I said, it's Oakland, Detroit, Minnesota, Chicago, Arizona.
Yeah. Detroit, I mean
you still got to face Dallas and Washington, Arsenal, Detroit. I mean, and there again. So, I mean, there's a lot of... To me, like I said, the next 4 games are the most manageable.
Right.
Maybe, probably next 3. Well, the next 3 or 4. Like I said, I still think Dallas could get very ugly as far as maybe the Cowboys going on a scoring rampage like the Denver did against. I can be very impressed with how that offense handled Denver last Sunday.
With the exception of not running the football very, efficient. But passing wise,
I mean, Des Bryant, Jason Witten had a nice game too. I mean, using a tight end. I mean,
Witten's not what he was, but he's still pretty good.
No, he still can make some big plays.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, it'll definitely be interesting to see. As far as this whole quarterback controversy thing, it's just people to me making it a controversy because they want to make it a controversy.
To me, it's Philadelphia.
We'll wait. To me,
it's Philadelphia fans like usual trying to find blame on a season that they. I mean, because even I projected we were going to be 3-1 to start the season.
Yeah.
And maybe have like a 6-win season.
Overall, yeah.
And we're I think 4 wins away from that prediction happening. I think you said 7-9.
6, yeah. 6. I mean,
honestly, I think the goal right now is to get above 4 because until we get to that time, I don't think we can really even go 6 or 7 at this point.
I mean, whether they win the division or not, I don't totally care. I mean,
no, because nobody expected it anyway.
Nobody expects him to,
and no Eagle fan should have expected
the 49ers in the first round. Or
exactly, and if we do, it's probably San Francisco.
Or Seattle.
Let's face it, we don't have the talent against that team.
Yeah. So
I mean, some people would say, well, Seattle was a big underdog when they hosted New Orleans and they beat them, and I'm like, well, tell me that to me that Seattle team is when they finally did start getting them. Because there's a lot of talent on there that they have still. Like Marshawn Lynch is still on the team. And he looks, it was Matt Hasselbeck. And that was pretty much to the point where his career was pretty much over.
Right.
And now it's Russell Wilson. I mean, so.
It's a different offense.
But I mean, if we do win the division and face San Francisco, let's a lot of people saying, well, obviously San Francisco, but we all remember when Seattle beat New Orleans at home. I mean, home.
But I mean, at least, being at least.
And some people also say, San Francisco's West Coast coming over to the East Coast. And there's always that, West Coast teams don't do well when they come over to the East Coast. East Coast teams do well when they come over to the West Coast.
Right.
Because of that whole jet lag.
Yeah.
I don't think that happens in the playoffs. I think by then they're already seasoned.
Yeah.
I think it happens at the beginning of the year because people still have not adjusted to the traveling yet.
Right. Yeah, regardless of whether in the playoffs or not this year, I think getting to 7-9 with the question marks that they've had, even 6-10, I mean, would be satisfactory to me. So.
Now that being said, 7-9, does that mean if does that mean Vick stay? I mean, like I said, there's gonna be a lot of
I think it
offseason.
would have to be more than
Yeah,
because
exactly.
there's definitely some. They'll be in a position, I think, at 7 and 9 to draft one of the 4 or 5 quarterbacks next year that could fit the Kelly
CBS Sports,
offense.
Sue says Oregon's Mariota is the favorite right now for
Yeah,
us.
yeah. I mean, there's options.
Now, obviously, that's because Chip Kelly recruited this
Right.
guy. He already runs the Oregon Duck offense because he plays for Oregon.
Yeah.
But listen, is he really an NFL caliber quarterback
Yeah.
though? Because to me, he's a system quarterback. He's like Tim
Yeah.
Tebow.
Right.
He can only run his system.
Yeah.
But once again, does his system work in the NFL?
Yeah.
And if a coordinator want to run his system, as Chip Kelly does because it's his system. So
definitely, yeah. One of the things that
to me,
Kelly's stressed.
if a Michael James is still on the table, we go for Michael James because the way we can help this offense, I think, is 2 solid running backs. And look at Michael James. You see LaShawn McCoy. Look at LaShawn McCoy. You see Michael James. Based on how they both run in that. And to me, no offense to Bryce Brown, he doesn't run like LaShawn McCoy. And I guess I'm kind of happy they're using him more now. At the end of the day, LaShawn McCoy's our running back. He should be the guy getting most of the carries.
Yeah.
And I God knows why we're using Polk now. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's situation arise. I think he can power through. He can be decent depending on the situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously Shady's shady. Or number one running back, I guess, of the year thus far statistically. I think as far as yards and overall.
Definitely in the league. Although, like I said, he had a kind of a slow second half.
Yeah, which can be explained by trying to run the read option with Nick Foles, and that's going to be a theme going into this game here. If they have Nick Foles, whether they have Michael Vick, how do they run the offense? What do they do? Etc.
Mm-hmm.
So is that? I guess that's all then. I guess for this edition of TW Sports Talk. So we'll get back to this next week. With hopefully, maybe the Eagles at a 500 record. We'll wait and see on that and be here to talk about that next week.